And not only was that segreto instruttoro, which is judicial seal in Italy, excuse my accent, Candace, violated over and over. They not only released information, they released false information that came from the police. One of my favorites that the media did was Foxy Knoxy was translated into Italian instead of meaning, to me that would mean kind of good-looking Knoxy. Was translated evil fox. They left out the Knox, it was just translated that that's what her nickname meant. And then there was information put out that she had a sexually transmitted disease and that she'd slept with 7 Italian men in 60 days. How inflammatory is that? This woman, this evil woman, is infecting our men with a sexually transmitted disease. That there was closed-circuit TV had her entering the house the night of the murder, and it refuted that she said she wasn't there. There was lie after lie, 22 of them. And I would submit to you that there was a lot of prejudgment. There was no questioning of the jurors or the judges about what they thought about the case. A poll published in January of 2009, taken in December of 2008, that Amanda Knox, the most well-known woman in Italy, more than the wife of the French president, who was Italian. And there was almost a universal hatred for her. And the collateral damage for that hatred was Raffaele, because Raffaele was her alibi and he was hers. So he had to go down with her. And so in this, all alone, these two stood in this maelstrom of hatred. They stood trial for their life, and they never had a chance. That's all I have. Thank you.
So, next I'd like to welcome Steve Moore. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you plug that in for me? I should start by saying that I am probably the least likely person to be coming to bat for a person convicted of murder. Right now, by my count, I was part of putting away 9 people for life without parole. 2 of them have completed that sentence, and 7 remain in prison. Actually, the other 2 remain in prison too. They're just not aware of it. Let me go back. After 25 years in the FBI, I tend to be, my blink is in favor of law enforcement. I remember when Amanda was arrested, I was in Washington, I was doing an undercover assignment, and my first thought was, my God, who are we sending on these foreign trips? I thought that way pretty much because I was listening to the press and I gave the benefit of the doubt to the Italian police. It was not until just prior to the conviction that my wife said, I've seen some things that concern me. I said, Michelle, you've been an FBI wife for 25 years. When did you lose your way? She said, I really think you should look at this. And I said, tell you what, I will look at this and I will prove within a day that she's guilty. And the day turned into a week. The week turned into a month. And after 2 months of investigating this, I came to the conclusion, and I remember where I was sitting, oh my God, this girl is completely innocent. And then it's like you've just seen a car accident in front of you, and the car's rolled over and it's on fire, and you can't say, well, somebody else will do something. You have the culpable knowledge. So that is why I'm here. I have knowledge that a great travesty has happened, and I am only involved in this because the evidence proved it to me. And this is what I want to go through. One of my friends said, we live in a neighborhood where you have horses. I have a basketball court because it doesn't need to be fed at 6 in the morning. He said, Steve, he's a lawyer, he said, Steve, when you hear the sound of hoofs outside, think horses, not zebras. The reason is, obviously, the most logical explanation is usually the right explanation. That's what they missed in this whole thing. I actually brought some notes for you because I like to be prepared. This is what I believe happened. I'm going to tell you right up front, this is what I believe happened. There is a cottage in Italy where 4 attractive girls, 2 Italian, 1 American, 1 British, live. The day after Halloween, a known burglar who is known to carry a knife, who has had 5 to 6 burglaries in the last month, goes to that house, sees the lights off, throws a rock through the window. There's a reason you throw the rock through the window. It's a standard MO. Number 1, it gives you access to the building. And number 2, it tells all the people, hey, I'm going to burgle you, so if you're there, turn on the light or come to the window. Pretty simple, huh? Throw the rock and it does 2 things for you. Nobody came to the window. He climbed in the window. He started to burgle 1 room. He decided to go into the bathroom to do something. And Meredith came home. And after that, Meredith screamed. He cut her throat. He sexually assaulted her. He took her money. He took her phones. He tried to call to get her ATM number. And he fled to Germany. A crime like that happens somewhere in the world just about every day. The zebra is the prosecution's version of this crime. The prosecution wants you to believe that Amanda and Raphael, who had been dating for 2 weeks, decide for the first time in their life that they're going to do a threesome. So they choose a known burglar who they don't know real well. They've only met once. Raphael had not met him. And Raphael says, yeah, that's a great idea. I'll bring this guy in who's a burglar who I don't know, and he can have sex with my girlfriend. So then they go into the room, and while they're there, Rudy, the burglar, decides to go in and force himself on Amanda's friend, Meredith. Meredith starts to scream, and Amanda goes in, and instead of siding with her friend, she sides with a rapist and stabs Meredith in the throat till she's dead. That's a zebra. There's a problem with that. And I'm going to go through what that in and of itself doesn't pass the Giggle test, but let me show you the evidence. They once asked Michelangelo, how did you sculpt the David statue? He said, I got a big chunk of marble and chipped away anything that didn't look like David. That actually is how crime investigation works. You go in, you take everything out that doesn't fit, okay? You remove anybody who couldn't have done the crime, and what you're left with is the person. It's a process of removal, not adding. What you have to do is you have to add evidence and remove suspects. In this situation, they removed evidence and added suspects. That's like driving your car backwards. Imagine going to your car and the steering worked backwards. This sums up the case right now, and it's the most frightening thing I have ever heard a law enforcement person say. We knew she was guilty of murder without physical evidence. Oh my God. The little thing in there is a quote from Inspector Clouseau, it won't be easy, that is why I've always failed while others have succeeded. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the lie of the bleach cleanup, okay? If you see that chalkboard, you see lower right there, all those smears? If you have a big bloody scene and you decide that you're going to use bleach and clean it up, it will look clean to you. It will look clean to you. But when you put that luminol stuff on it, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like big smears in the floor, okay? And it's going to glow. If you don't have a cleanup, it's stuff you can read. It's stuff you can look at. So if you've got a clear footprint on a floor, there was no bleach cleanup. Okay? On the left, you see a bleach cleanup test. That was a bathtub where they put blood on it, and then they tried to clean it with bleach, and that's what it looks like. Just a bunch of smears. With the light off, it looks like a clean bathtub. On the right is a footprint in the cottage the day that they picked up after the murder. Where do you see a bleach cleanup there? That is a clean, perfect impression of a foot, which proves that there was no bleach cleanup. The police knew from the day they saw that there was no cleanup. Now you're saying to me, well then, what made that footprint? You use a chemical in these things called luminol. Luminol is the thing that are in light sticks. You know, at concerts and stuff, you get light sticks. That stuff glows. So what it does is, if you get it in a spray bottle and you spray it on this stuff, there's two things that it reacts to. It reacts to blood really strongly. That it reacts to bleach just as strongly. It reacts to bleach so strongly that, and so similarly, that when you go through forensic training, they use bleach to train you. Because it's hard to go down to the Red Cross and say, I need another gallon of blood to train these guys. So we use bleach to train. That's how similar it is. So when you see that footprint right there, you say it's either blood or probably bleach. So here's what happened during this investigation. A woman named Patricia Stefanoni, she's in charge of the scientific police there. She's looking for any indication of who did this. And so she finds a footprint in the hall that she believes is Amanda's. And so all you know now is it's either bleach or blood. It's what's called a presumptive test. So you have to do a secondary test on this, and that's what's called a TMB test, a tetramethylbenzidine test. I can say it, so I'm an FBI agent. There is actually a kit in the evidence response van that's a TMB kit. If you find, I mean, that thing on the right, Eureka, you may have solved the case. All you have to do is prove it's blood. But they didn't check to see if it was blood. How do you do that? How do you find a footprint like that and just say, I'm not going to check to see if it's blood? That's incomprehensible. I couldn't figure out why that would be. But that's only what they said the first time. This is Patricia Stefanoni, and early in the trial, she said, no, we saw those footprints, but you know, they were either bleach or they were either blood or fruit juice. You decide. Well, guess what? Later on in the trial, it was revealed that they had tested for blood, and it wasn't blood. They lied. She perjured herself on the stand. To what purpose? The purpose could only be to convict Amanda Knox. That is the only reason she would do that. Now, you're saying, why did where did the bleach come from then? Have any of you ever taken a shower? Raise your hand. Thank you. If you have taken a shower, and if your shower is cleaner than mine, you've used bleach on it. You have sprayed the walls with it. You use bleach in bathroom cleaners because it kills mold, right? So these are the 5 top Italian bathroom cleaners. All of them have bleach as a major ingredient. So if you spray it on the walls, you don't even have to spray it on the floor. If you spray it on the walls, when you turn on the water, guess where it goes? To the floor. So you're actually standing all the time in a shower, you are standing in a weak bleach solution. So when you come out of a shower, you're going to have some bleach footprints around. In fact, let me show you something here. You see all around the footprint, you see how the bricks are outlined in the luminol reaction there? That's because the floor cleaner had some bleach in it and stuck in the cracks and the holes. This is just the most ridiculous lynching I've ever seen in my life. There was not a single trace of Amanda in the murder room. Nothing. Nothing. Not a single credible trace of Raphael Solecito in the murder room. They'll talk to you about the broad clasp, but I will guarantee you that within a few weeks, you're going to see that that's going to be thrown out as bogus. Now we come to the part where everybody says, oh, Amanda said she came home the morning after the murder and walked around in this house where blood was, where somebody had been murdered. Have you all heard that? She came home, and how could she just walk around in all this blood and not say anything? Let me show you how. The Lifetime movie said that this is an actual scene from the Lifetime movie. They said, this is what Amanda saw in the bathroom.